Lowe's is my new go-to destination where I can explore the latest innovative Craftsman products, including their new V20 Power Tool battery platform. The Craftsman's V20 cordless power tool lineup features a high-capacity lithium battery that's part of Craftsman's interchangeable battery system. It works with all the tools in their V20 lineup, giving you the runtime you need and the power you deserve. For the latest Craftsman product updates, visit Lowes.com/footballers. Lowe's is the new home of Craftsman.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
It's good to be back, America!
It's good to have you back, Mike Wright.
Jason Moore!
Oh, Jay Grizz.
What is happening, Foot Clan?
So much.
So much. I am thrilled to be back. I appreciate it. Look, sometimes when you make a promise to your children when they're very young, you got to follow through.
Oh.
And that's what I had to do this last week. I promised them for Christmas they were going to Disneyland.
Oh, my goodness. See, when I promise my kids things, I break their hearts later. I say, got ya. I was just joking.
I strongly considered it, but I had to. So, Foot Clan, I appreciate the support while I was on the trip, struggling the real life that is watching three children run rampant and tell you how terrible of a parent you are while we're in Disneyland. That's so much fun.
Yeah. That's about as much fun as some people had this week in fantasy football where, man, a lot of big names that decided to hate you.
A lot of things. So it is Monday, Punday. We're going to get into these one-liners. We got Phillip, Lindsay, Brooks.
Meh.
Brooks, you put that in there?
Meh.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh, Brooks loves it. Oh, how about this? I've lost that love in Thielen.
Yeah, Thielen is...
what happened?
I don't know, man. I mean, the thing is, they scored 41 points. The Minnesota Vikings had a great
trust
game.
me, I know, because I was playing against Dalvin Cook. I felt each and every one of those points.
Yeah, they let go their offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden they can score again.
The silence of the Rams.
I like that one a lot.
That's very good. Losing to a kicker is just not fair bear.
I don't think I've ever been more happy with a kicking performance than
to come right now when the spotlight's on.
Yes, Kaimi Fairbairn has ruined people's fantasy playoffs. He has single-handedly. I've seen screenshots where he is outscoring Pat Mahomes this week, and people would have won, but they had to unfortunately go up against Kaimi Fairbairn. And Andy, this last week, spent his whole week diving as deep as he could on kickers, looking at every metric possible to try to make the right call, and he put out a kicker that goosed. Kickers are so stupid. They make such an impact on your fantasy league, and it's all pure, unadulterated luck. So I am of the mindset.
So enjoy that.
So enjoy that. I mean, honestly, like Andy, we vote every year in our league of record whether or not we're going to remove kickers, replace them with a flex, which we should. Mike, you're a yes vote.
Oh, absolutely. And we have been very, very close. I think we got a swing vote this year.
We did. Andy's like, I'm changing. I'm finally on board. So yeah, I mean, he would have been in his game.
Because here's the thing: not that we're going to spend all of our time on kickers, but if like we want that kicker spot to be another flex player,
right?
If that flex player had been someone that I know what I'm doing, I'm researching this, I'm liking the matchup, everything, and then that player lets me down, like I had several players let me down this week, I can accept that.
Yeah,
it's not just the randomness of a kicker. The best one of the weekend. I wish do we have a drum roll on here?
I am unaware of a drum roll, but it is fantastic if you are either like Mike or myself or under the age of 10.
Poo-Poo Smith Pooster.
You got it in 3 times. Yeah.
Robby Manderson. Fantastic. Fantastic. I got hit by a Mack truck. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Marlon Mack.
And then last one, Cameron Brait, my heart. We really should have stopped with Poo-Poo Smith Pooster. So I didn't want to go with this one because I didn't want to go with double poop jokes. But those last few were not strong enough, so we got to finish with Saquon Fartley.
Oh, that's so childish.
We are children on this show. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I'm filling in today for Andy. I'm here with my good friend Jason Moore. Please check out the show on YouTube, youtube.com/thefantasyfootballers. Foot Clan giveaway, that is still rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not entered, number one, shame on you. If you have entered, hopefully you visited again recently because there has been an updated entry as we try to back-to-back hold down the fort for the FSTA Social Media Award. And I'm not saying it's all on you to win that Foot Clan, but it's called the Social Media Award.
You guys are
so
our
that's
social.
all you. And so if you want to check that out, go to footclangiveaway.com. Let's get into the Weekly Rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
There was some rough injuries this weekend for fantasy football at a really suboptimal time, but Aaron Jones left in the second quarter suffering a sprained MCL on Sunday. That was rough.
That was rough. I mean, there's a couple of people that you really expected to have big games. I mean, you could have made these people starts of the week, like Aaron Jones, my number 2 wide receiver on the week in Keenan Allen went down. You also have Lamar Miller, who's been so reliable, a huge volume play.
Yeah, and he went out in the first quarter with an ankle injury. Tyler Boyd, luckily for people that played Tyler Boyd, he still came through with a decent game before he left in the second half with a knee injury, and we actually just got breaking news on that was also an MCL
sprain,
a low-grade MCL sprain, so he is likely done for the season. Hey, Matt Breida suffered an ankle injury.
Well, he played in the game, so by rule he has to suffer at least one injury.
Man, that guy
per game. But he also was fine. I mean, he looked good in the game up until the ankle injury.
Thursday night, I'm sure many of you felt this, but Keenan Allen suffered a hip pointer, and he left behind
a goose.
That is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt a lot of people. And for some people, I mean, look, having a goose doesn't mean you lose.
Right.
You can overcome having Keenan Allen. The worry is whether or not he's going to be back. I'm guessing he misses this next week at least. They're playoff bound. They need to make sure they rest him up. Brooks overcame Keenan Allen.
He did. Congratulations, Brooks.
Just as you've been strutting around talking about how good your team is, how unbeatable your team is, telling everybody, I can't lose.
That sounds like Brooks.
Totally Brooks.
The Brooks I know.
And, yeah, you lost Keenan Allen, but you're in the championship game.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have Keenan Allen. I say hopefully because it's me and you, Brooks.
Oh, yes.
I'm on the other side. I'm coming for you.
We'll give an update on our personal leagues in a little bit. And then the tragic calamity of the Buffalo Bills backfield.
Oh, my goodness.
It was absolutely outrageous what was happening. So Shady McCoy, he warmed up, but decided he was not going to give it a go because of the hamstring.
He's out. Well, at least you got Chris Ivory there.
Chris Ivory was ruled out before Shady McCoy.
Shoot. Well, Marcus Murphy looked great in preseason.
Yeah, it looked like he had some juice. Oh, he left in the second quarter.
Oh, that's not good. But who else you got there? You have Ford.
Yeah.
Ford, running back Ford. So he's next up. running back Ford. Oh no! This just in. He is down. We now have 4 running, and I believe their 5th running back, who I don't even know who that is.
Well, because it's not a running back,
right?
They eventually had to lean on Patrick DeMarco.
Oh yeah.
The fullback. Keith
And
Ford
he
actually did come back into the game, but
DeMarco got hurt too, right?
I believe he did. I mean, this is not at all to make light of the injuries. This is just like, how is that possible?
Yeah,
that
one
position.
I love Michael Keith. I mean, it was really ridiculous, and Isaiah McKenzie was just trying his best to become a running back.
Yep, he did his best. So before we jump into the stud muffins, people ask us frequently, what's going on with the league. Both Andy and I were fighting for a spot in the championship game in the league of record. Both of our teams took what qualifies as a big steamy turd.
Yeah.
My team put up my second lowest points of the season on the back of Rob Gronkowski, Josh Gordon absolutely failing. Now I have an impossible scenario where I can win. Andy,
you can definitely win. All you need is Michael Thomas and Curtis Samuels to not combine for about 10 points.
Yeah, so cool. And Andy, he got Saquoned in a bad
Mahomes
and Phillip.
Hild, and I mean, his team was an all-star lineup of pooped in their pants or didn't plays. And what's a shame is last week, so he lost Odell Beckham. Last week he puts up the league high with Odell Beckham in his lineup. He didn't change it because he was on bye. He didn't even need it. His team was awesome, and then sorry,
oh
you're
man,
out.
fantasy football.
And all I need to face Brooks is I need Drew Brees, Christian McCaffrey, and Curtis Samuel to not score 93 points. So I think I'm okay.
Yeah, so you're pretty good. Speaking of good,
this week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
Your big star quarterbacks of the week.
There weren't any. There really weren't any.
Well, there wasn't any league-winning performances.
I mean, usually if you look at the fantasy scoring, right, like I believe, was Matt Ryan the #1 fantasy quarterback this week?
Yeah.
So far.
I think so.
Right.
He had an okay game. He had like 25 points. That's usually like
He had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's fine. But to be the #1 on the week is very, very low. And that means no one had more than him because that's what #1 means.
Right. Things were so bleak that Sam Darnold Schwarzenegger came through with one of the big weeks. And Josh Allen, he somehow ended up on this list even without a huge rushing output. Granted, he had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, 16 rushing yards, lowest of his career or future forever. But 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown, 200 yards through the air. No turnovers, which helps. So, yeah, I mean, it was a really down week for quarterbacks, and the reason why is because it was a pretty darn good week for running backs. If you had a running back, they pretty much performed.
Yeah, we had some really strong running back performances. Todd Gurley continued, although, I mean, this will come up on the waiver show. Todd Gurley missed an entire series. Now, while he missed the series, he was quite jovial on the sideline, laughing it up, having a good time. But
also while he's having a good time, had a very significant wrap on his knee.
And then came back in the game, and you could see there was a noticeable limp. I can't imagine he misses next week, but
due to them losing, they need him. They need him to play, and I'll bet he's back out there. But Todd Gurley owners have to be holding their breath.
Yes,
right
they
now.
do. Derrick Henry.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Derrick.
It's real.
It's real now.
Well, it's real because of one reason.
I'm a real boy.
I mean, look, Andy pumped the brakes on him last week. I said I was worried that this could end up becoming the type of guy that wins you championships in the playoffs, because what if that performance tells the coaching staff, let's get him the ball? And it did, to the tune of 33 carries.
Yeah, big time.
That's insane.
170 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, just an absolute dominant performance. If you haven't seen the spin move into the touchdown waltz where he chucks up the deuces and just lightly jaunts into the end zone. It was unbelievable. Damien Williams, Jason Moore.
Yes.
I was not here for your reaction to Damien Williams dominating.
Yeah, he dominated.
10 for 49, 2 on the ground, 6 for 74 through the air.
Hey, it's just like I said he would. I will credit myself with that because he's not good. Damien Williams is not a good football player. I mean, everyone in the NFL is good, right? Everyone. The worst player out there is the greatest is in the 1% of best football players on the planet. But compared to other NFL running backs, he's not good. But people, it's funny, my Twitter timeline was like, oh, everyone was like, thank you, you gave me the push to start him because you said he was going to be top 12, and then other people would come and be like, you said he sucks. I'm like, yes, he does. But his opportunity was so good. His opportunity is unbelievable.
Joe Mixon, great game. Marlon Mack.
Oh, my God. This is the one.
This one was, not really part of when you are saying, okay, let's go through the process. All right, Marlon Mack versus the Dallas Cowboys, who have had a very stingy defense. Runs absolutely buck nasty. 27 for 139, 2 scores on the ground.
He looked great. I've been a big Marlon Mack fan. I've talked about the talent of him, but this last week, Mike, you were gone, and I was so down on Marlon Mack in this matchup with the linebacking core that Dallas has. That first half, the fact that they had the ball 20 minutes, they being Dallas, I mean, it was crazy. And the difference, I believe, was that the starter – the center, Ryan Kelly, was back in this game. And if you look at the metrics between when he's there and when he's gone, the yards per carry of all the running backs jumps significantly. So even with the great defense from Dallas, Marlon Mack is he's completely for real.
Chris Carson had another monster game. Tevin Coleman remembered that he's playing for a future contract. Next year.
I think the Arizona Cardinals helped remind him.
Sure, but a major game for Tevin Coleman. Then some honorable mentions. Wendell Smallwood.
Heck yeah, 2 touchdowns. Josh Adams was he left the game at one point, somewhat injured, and so you really saw a 3-way split. But down near the goal line, surprisingly, it was Wendell Smallwood.
Some guys that we could be talking about for next year on this list. Peyton Barber continues to have a very solid fantasy season. 19 for 85 with a touchdown. That was against Baltimore.
Yeah.
So he's someone that people are going to be very interested in, I believe, next year. Then welcome to the NFL, Kalen Ballage, the Bellagio.
The Bellagio. They put all their chips on black, and it hit.
Big time.
He had a monster game, 123 rushing yards with a touchdown.
Because Frank Gore, I don't know, we may have missed this at the beginning. That's my fault. But Frank Gore also left the game with an ankle injury. I believe the X-rays came back negative, so we don't know the full extent of the injury for Frank Gore. But Frank Gore is not long for the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, I can't imagine him being there next year, but I feel like it's in his contract where he's allowed if he so chooses.
Right.
Like if he so chooses, you can't say no. You can't say no. We won't bring you back. But yeah, Gore was gone. Drake might pump the brakes this last week because of his injury. He got 1 carry. I mean, so it was Kalen Ballage's opportunity, and he showed well. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, on tomorrow's waiver wire show.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Jamal Williams,
another guy we're gonna have to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. He filled in admirably. There we go. Second try, first try. He had a solid game for the Green Bay Packers. At the wide receiver position, DeAndre Hopkins had himself a time, 10 for 170 and 2. A monster performance. Mike Williams really, really stepped up for the Los Angeles Chargers in the absence of Keenan Allen. I mean, is this finally the breakout? I mean, I feel like we've asked this question several times for Mike Williams. Was this the breakout for Mike Williams? What was he, like 7th overall in the draft?
He was a top 10 pick. He's a phenomenal player. Andy wrote up before the season he could have 10 touchdowns. I think he might be there on the season. I don't think this can be his breakout game because I think he's already had his breakout game.
All right.
What it is he's not the #1 target on this team while Keenan is there. But if Keenan misses next week, Mike Williams is, he's got
Baltimore.
Yeah, look, you can have Baltimore, but if Phillip Rivers is throwing 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns,
right,
there's a great chance that one of them goes Mike Williams' way. And while he won't be, a top 12 must-start type of guy, I still think you can start him at home against Baltimore. 2
fellas decided that they wanted to show up. I'm sure they're on a handful of fantasy benches. Doug Baldwin, 4 for 77 with 2 scores. And then Alshon Jeffrey,
he was
8 for 160.
The Zach Ertz owners were sad at Nick Foles. Nick Foles came in and said, my #1 target is not Zach Ertz. It's actually the #1 wide receiver. And every which way, when he needed, an outlet, when he needed pressure was coming on him and he needed to find someone, it was always Alshon Jeffrey, deep, shallow.
Well, to be fair, one of those was actually, I think, Nelson Aguilar's ball.
It might have been, but Alshon said, I'll take this too. I've never seen a play like that because, usually when 2 wide receivers are running near each other down the field, something went wrong. But it wasn't just they were near each other. It was both of them beat the defense. They both beat them and were like, oh, hey, bud, you beat them too? And then he just threw it to both of them like when you're playing 500.
I wish we had mic'd up of that play because I wanted to, did Alshon – did he go – I got it. No, I got it.
I think if you're Nelson Aguilar there and Alshon Jeffrey's right next to you, you go, I'll let you get it.
Yeah. Robby Anderson. Did you have more?
I was just going to
hot Nelson Aguilar takes.
No, nothing on Aguilar. I was going to bring up Kenny Golladay, who shocked me.
Yeah, Kenny Golladay. Brooks, you actually played him.
Yeah, it was a bit of a deeper league. You start a lot of players.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Against Buffalo, 7 for 146, and then like I said, Robby Anderson, absolutely monster game, and then Robert Foster yet again, 4 for 108 with a score, and then hey, check out these stud muffins at the tight end position.
Oh yeah.
Garrett Selleck.
Oh, so good! Congrats to everybody starting Garrett Selleck.
I had him just outside of my top 5, just out. Trey Burton decides that he's going to come through. Oh man, and then Evan Engram, this one you could have actually seen coming.
I used my start of the week.
Because of the injury to Odell Beckham. 12 targets for Evan Engram, 8 for 75. They have to figure out a way to get Evan Engram and Odell Beckham going at the same time.
Their offense would be better. And then I would throw in I'll go ahead and throw in a Saquon. Say, get all 3 going.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be enough production to go around for those 3 guys. And then, of course –
Kaimi. Unfair, Baron.
Yeah.
It's not fair what he did to everybody. 5 for 5 field goals. They were deep field goals. If your scoring is like, oh, you get bonuses for 40 and 50 yards, then he put up like 20-plus points and was one of the best players on the week.
Yeah.
He would have been like, based on how bad quarterbacks were, he would have been like the quarterback 5. But enjoy your kickers. Hey, on a bright note, want to thank Simply Safe today as one of our sponsors. They've been supporting our show. They are one of the best things out there for this holiday season. We use them at this studio. We protect our studio with Simply Safe. If you're out there, you've been thinking about getting a Simply Safe home security system, but you've been waiting for the holidays when all the tech deals are out, well, you've made a smart move because right now you can get a great deal on Simply Safe if you go to simplysafe.com/footballers. That's the only way to get it. Go to simplysafe.com/footballers. They very rarely do deals because their prices are already the best. I mean, CNET, PC Magazine, Wirecutter, they all say Simply Safe is the best security system there is. They get great reviews. There's no contract. There's no hidden fees. I mean, it really is a great way to protect your home and family. So if you're looking for a security system, you want a great deal, go to Simply Safe. That's simply with an I, S-I-M-P-L-I, safe.com/footballers to get the offer. Make sure you use that URL. It really helps the show. Simplysafe.com/footballers, simplysafe.com/footballers. And hurry, the offer does end very soon.
Rising Stars of the Week.
My rising star of the week, if you had asked me about this at the beginning of the season, Mike, do you think that there is any chance at all that a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills makes it onto the rising stars list for anyone this year? I would have said nay.
What if I told you
nay?
That, well, what about this, Mike? What about if week 14 and week 15, their quarterback throws for like 200 yards?
I would say nay.
Yeah.
But Robert Foster, here we are. 4 of the last 5 games, he has at least 94 yards. It's been an incredible surge for Robert Foster. He has emerged as the deep threat. If we knew anything about Josh Allen, it was that he could throw the football over the mountains, and they have found the guy who can run over the mountains and catch that ball in Robert Foster. The past 2 weeks, he has accounted for about 50% of Josh Allen's passing yards.
I mean, to have the numbers where you're basically every week getting over 90 receiving yards, and the quarterback is throwing for about 200.
And the Bills, they dumped the wide receivers that they had. They dumped Kelvin Benjamin, Andre Holmes. They put the faith in Robert Foster, and he has rewarded them. And this is really good news, not just for the Buffalo Bills, but for fantasy purposes as a whole, because I think that Robert Foster can make Josh Allen a safer play. And instead of having to just rely on Josh Allen running for 100 yards or a score every single week, he actually has a complementary weapon. If they can get 1 or 2 more pieces around him, then maybe people are happy that they have Josh Allen on their fantasy team.
Well, I think right now people are happy that you have Josh Allen on your fantasy team. If you look at the last 5 games he's played in, he's pretty much a quarterback 1 in all but one.
Fair point.
So, Foster has been great. I think you could trust him and move forward with him. It's a true addition by subtraction situation with Kelvin Benjamin, as it usually is. My rising star, look, it's low-hanging fruit. But sometimes the most important, most delicious fruit is right there, easy for the picking, and you don't want to get too cute with it. It has to be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry.
Cute fruit?
Cute fruit. Derrick Henry himself. The cutest fruitest. Derrick Henry.
He's like a cutie.
2 weeks ago.
A little orange.
Yeah, those are delicious.
Yeah, they're easy to peel.
So easy.
Brought to you by Cuties.
Not a sponsor. Look, Derrick Henry 2 weeks ago, we all know, he had one of the best games of all time in fantasy football with 4 touchdowns, 238 yards. Absurd.
Yeah.
Right? But he's Derrick Henry. We've got a large enough sample size. He's not going to get it done, except he got the ball. And this is what I talked about this last week, was what if that performance changes the coaching staff's mentality and says, we're giving it to him. And that's all they did all game long. 33 carries for Derrick Henry.
It is bananas.
And it turned into 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was on the road. Derrick Henry, if you look at his home road splits, they are very different. He is a home player. Where is he playing next week? He's playing at home, coming off of 2 monstrous games, and he's playing against the Washington Redskins. Yes, the Washington Redskins, they did not give up much, in the way of points to Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
But in fairness, nobody does right now. Leonard Fournette has just been a bum. The Redskins have given up monster games. I mean, Saquon ate them alive. The Philadelphia team, the last several weeks before Leonard Fournette, Washington's been ran all over. Their offense is so bad, they're not going to outscore Tennessee's good defense to the point where we can't just keep giving Derrick Henry the ball. Derrick Henry will get the ball 25 times at home next week. He'll have over 100 yards. He'll have a touchdown. I mean, Derrick Henry to me is an RB1.
Right.
Must start at this point. So he is truly my rising star because 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have dreamed of playing Derrick Henry in your fantasy championship week. And now it's I wouldn't dream of not.
Oh, do you know Derrick Henry's 16-game pace the past 2 weeks?
I want to hear it. Oh, these are fun.
He's 400 attempts.
Oh, that's a lot.
For 3,264 yards.
How many touchdowns?
48.
Nice. Ugh, he's so good. Look, extrapolating small sample sizes
is fun.
It's always fun, but that's one of the most ridiculous ones I've ever heard. 3,000 rushing yards, 48 touchdowns.
So there you have Robert Foster, Derrick Henry, our rising stars. That was brought to you by Fantasy Champs. Make sure you stop by fantasychamps.com for look.
This is the time of
the year, man.
Bookmark Fantasy Champs. Get ready to buy the coolest, most awesome trophy of all time. Their gold trophy, their crystal trophies. Ha!
That crystal trophy, and then of course the rings. Get some custom engraving for the placards on the trophies. I mean, great things happening at fantasychamps.com. Now, speaking of not great things,
Pooped in his big boy pants.
Dak Prescott, Andrew Luck, Jared Goff.
Jared Barf, man. I mean,
339 yards and no touchdowns.
Oh, he did throw 2 interceptions, though. Jared Barf. I mean.
Oh, no, wait. No, he had 1 touchdown, right?
No,
Oh, he was short.
He was short by inches. I was so upset because I had Reynolds pretty high in my rankings, and I was like, yes, perfect. And then he was an inch short.
But Luck and Goff really letting people down this week. Unfortunate. Jameis Winston, but I think everyone had pivoted away from Winston against the Ravens.
Yeah, Winston didn't hurt people, but the 3-pack, and I'll include Dak in that 100%.
Okay.
Dak, because he had done enough the last few weeks. I think he was our streamer. The matchup was good. The offense was clicking with Amari Cooper. He had done enough to prove that you can start him, and then he did nothing. Worse than nothing. So we got to talk about those 3 guys, Dak, Luck, and Goff. They're very different. Like Andrew Luck, 0 worries about. They won the game. They were up in a manner of which they shut out the Cowboys. The Cowboys were they scored 0 points. That's what a shutout is. They did not need Andrew Luck.
Thank you for clarifying.
That's what I'm here for. They didn't need Andrew Luck to throw the ball to score a ton, and that's not the usual MO. So I have no worries about Andrew Luck. Next week against the New York Giants, I don't think it's going to be the same thing.
If you survive, anyways.
Right, if you survive. Yeah. Or if he's dropped and you pick him up. There's no one with Goff in the championship, right, at this point? After the back-to-back weeks of – I mean, maybe he's on your roster, but if you played him last week and this week – and what do you do?
I don't know, man.
The high-powered Rams offense, silence of the Rams.
I mean, tell me if this is my analysis, but it's also very difficult because I have Brandon Cooks on my team. And so as much as we try, sometimes the self-bias and your team, it filters in. But as I'm watching the game, the lack of deep shots to Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods over the past few weeks, to me, that's the difference. Like the first half of the season, it seemed like about 1 every 4 passes, Jared Goff would just go for it because his receivers would make a play, and I'm not seeing him air it out nearly as much.
So I do see him going deep enough, maybe not nearly as much, and the reason for that is the league is caught up that it's always play action. You know what I mean? Like the play action really got people early in the year with Todd Gurley. It would give a lot of time for Goff to sit back there and look as the defense has all come up to stop the run. That's not happening. So I think the shots aren't there to take as much. And I would add this. Goff has been inaccurate.
Right.
I mean, Goff's deep ball accuracy the first half of this year was something to behold. It was beautiful. I mean, we'd always joke that, like, how does every Rams wide receiver get 2 yards wide open on every single play? But they would always be hit in stride. Beautiful, perfect throws. And now there's a lot of balls that are not catchable coming from Jared Goff. So I am a little worried. Now they get Arizona next week. Matt Ryan, #1 quarterback this week, was not stopped by the Arizona awesome defense. So, maybe it's a get-right game, but I doubt a lot of people with Goff are in the –
Against that Philadelphia secondary, that should have been a get-right game. At the running back position, for as many amazing performances as we had, Phillip, Lindsay, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Miller.
Also known as Andy's 2 running backs.
Oh, man. That was a tough Sunday morning. Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake, and then – man, and Sony Michel. I think those were the really, really disappointing players of the week.
Yeah,
Is there anything to take away? Because Phillip Lindsay gets to play Oakland, Saquon plays Indy.
No,
Fournette plays Miami, who just got absolutely burned at the stake by Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, this is so with Phillip Lindsay's a couple of bad games in a row for him. I'm still not worried, especially with the Oakland matchup. I would start Phillip Lindsay without any hesitation. Saquon, I mean, come on, of course. You're starting him. Every player has a bad game. It doesn't matter if you're Antonio Brown, if you're Gronk, Aaron. Every player has bad games from time to time. Hopefully you were able to overcome that.
That is so
Lamar
brutal.
Miller is worrisome. Lamar Miller left with an injury, and he's got Jacksonville. So, I mean, that he might be someone that if he's playing, you don't play him. Fournette.
He's got the Eagles this week.
Oh, that's right. The Eagles.
Yeah, week 17, Jacksonville.
Still
injury.
about the same.
Yeah.
Jeez, Jason.
The Leonard Fournette, he's a real question. At what point do you say he's not that good?
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying, at what point do?
Oh no!
I've been such a Leonard Fournette believer until about a month ago. And then every week, my belief has just continued to go downhill. Where I go, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I tweeted out like, why isn't Leonard Fournette better than he is? And that was early in the game, and he proceeded to have the worst game imaginable. I mean, the worst game imaginable until this last week.
Well, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks ago was actually worse. But Leonard Fournette, he's going to be interesting heading into next year for fantasy purposes. Where does he go in drafts? Is he viewed as this locked and loaded top 5 running back volume, or speaking for volume?
Yeah, I mean, I assume next year he'll be in the back of the top 12 running backs. He's still going to be a bell cow, and he's still got the talent. Things went wrong with injuries this year. A lot of excuses will be made, but I guess that's what I'm saying is when do we stop making excuses? Do we do it championship week against Miami, who, as you said, Dalvin Cook?
I would play him.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. But it's going to be one of those, like, fool me 3 times.
Oh, man, yeah. The wide receiver position, honestly, the absolute, like, collapse, at least comparatively. Let's be fair to him, but Adam Thielen, what happened? I mean, 8 straight games of 100+ scoring in all but 2 of those games, to now the past 6 weeks has surpassed 100 yards once.
Yeah, this last game was really upsetting.
That was a heartbreaker.
2 weeks ago, 5 for 70.
Heartbreaker.
5 for 70 is a good game. It's not
right.
great, but you're not, that you shouldn't be super disappointed. You're very disappointed because you got used to Adam Thielen being a top 3 wide receiver week in, week out for the first half of the year. But this week, 2 for 19 is a horse of a different color. That was the first game with the new offensive coordinator, new play caller, and you worry a little bit. But when you score 41 points, Dalvin Cook goes wild. You don't really need Adam Thielen that much. I still believe Adam Thielen is going to be the #1 target and is a worthy player. So I'm not that worried.
Okay.
Are you?
No.
Okay.
But what about this? Oh, yeah, just when you thought it was safe to put Amari Cooper into your championship lineup.
He got you. He's fine. Amari Cooper is absolutely fine. And next week, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd play him. Look, the Colts team deserve a lot of credit. I mean, they got up for that game. I was watching the defense flying around. I mean, Frank Reich he's inspired me, and I'm not even a Colt.
That's because he makes high-class movies. That's my reference to – I'm bringing up on the show that I believe that Frank Reich is actually Steven Spielberg.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, you have said he looks a lot like Steven Spielberg.
Like he's coming off of the success of Ready Player One right into coaching the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, I look at pictures and I say, I don't see it. But there was
Brooks agrees with me.
Oh, yeah, when you brought it up yesterday.
No, I agree.
They showed him on the sideline.
They showed him on the sideline, and you said it, and I was like, oh, yeah. But when I just look at pictures.
Well, but do the pictures have the glasses and the beard?
No,
because that's the entire thing. It's really just he has thick black frame glasses and a gray beard. And I'm like, oh, it's Steven Spielberg.
And I think he was wearing a hat, too, so it's like it was perfect.
Oh, Steven loves hats.
All right.
Tyreek Hill had a down game.
Do you worry about the foot?
A little bit. A little bit I do.
It's irrelevant. You're playing him. I mean,
of course.
Yeah, you just have to play these guys. Big disappointing games from Josh Gordon, worst game of the year. Jarvis Landry, right when you thought you could trust him. Tyler Lockett's been
cold Lockett,
frozen Lockett. Yeah, that's stunk.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry though gets the Bengals. Things are going to be fine for Cincinnati. Nick Chubb almost made this list. He would have certainly been on there if it was not for that 40-yard run right at the very end of the game. But just want to clarify.
And he
Nick
wasn't
Chubb
involved.
he will play the Bengals.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so he'll be fine. Chris Godwin. What? Really? Chris Godwin?
I mean, I don't think a lot of people were playing Chris Godwin against the Ravens.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, but with the gooser.
Because you could say Adam Humphries, 4 for 23. I mean, Jameis Winston going up against Baltimore. This was a situation where you were going to reluctantly play Mike Evans and bench everyone else, and that would have worked out for you.
So these last two guys I want to talk about. You just brought up Leonard Fournette. When do we stop making excuses? Corey Davis, Cortland Sutton. When
Cortland Sutton, we stopped making excuses for several weeks ago.
Okay.
I mean, I think we kind of called him out and said he's just not ready yet. Yeah. I mean, we thought coming out of the bye, getting rid of DT, the schedule was opening up, and he's had one good game since then. Cortland Sutton is not someone that you should be trusting because Case Keenum isn't playing like someone you should trust. I hoped this week, because the coaching staff was saying they want Keenum to push the ball down the field, that he would do it. And it was literally like that pissed him off so much that he said, I'll show you. I'm not throwing it even to the line of scrimmage. It's only backward pass screens. That's all I'm doing this whole game. I've never seen a player
no one puts Keenum in a corner
so terrified to throw the ball down the field. He makes old school San Francisco Alex Smith look like, rookie year Joe Flacco, who's just airing it out 40 yards down the field every play.
I'm going to be honest. Tracking that analogy was like high school trigonometry.
Yeah, it was. I could have gone with more recent.
What just happened?
I could have gone with more recent examples. But those were the first thing that popped in my head.
What is going on?
I had to go with rookie year Joe Flacco, not Pat Mahomes, right? Not like the guy that's torching the league throwing the ball.
People don't even remember rookie year Joe Flacco.
No, I know. Rookie year Joe Flacco does not hold up. That's like that was the worst. That was one of the worst analogies of all time.
Take third year Johnny Unitas. Sophomore year Brett Favre, and mix in a little rookie Fran Tarkenton.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, what an idiot.
All right, at the tight end position, if you were disappointed by your tight end, good news. Everybody was.
Seriously. I mean, what tight ends did well? Because we thought we
read them off.
Kelsey had a bad week, right? Like,
nope.
We were disappointed. No, he was amazing.
He was very good. Eric Ebron
sucked.
Zach Ertz.
Sucked.
Rob Gronkowski.
Sucked.
George Kittle was okay.
George Kittle.
3 for 51.
I'll tell you what, Andy would say he sucked because he let him down big time, and there was that play. I think it was like first quarter.
Yeah, well, that was on Mullins, though. Mullins missed him running
wide
free.
open for a 60-yard touchdown. He overthrew him.
But then he made up for it when he hit Garrett Selleck on a wide open 60-yard touchdown or whatever it was.
Jared Cook, bad game. Cameron Brate, bad game. Jimmy Graham, bad game.
David Njoku, bad game.
I mean, eventually you got to say, good game? Right? Like
that's what I'm saying.
David Njoku had 30 yards.
George Kittle had 51. That was a good game.
All right,
this week.
George Kittle, you're forgiven. You are.
Why is he on this list, Brooks? That's not fair.
Just people expect more at this point. But
yeah, I mean,
in the landscape, you're right. It's
Andy
not fair.
definitely would have put him on. Anybody with George Kittle who lost would have put George Kittle on this list. And here's a good example. Let me read some of the top tight ends of the week since we've read all these names. Garrett Selleck.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, Jeremy Sprinkle. Whoa.
Oh, I forgot about Sprinkle.
Yeah, the number 3 tight end on the week.
I mean, his cupcakes are delicious.
They are so good. Lee Smith balled out. Don't forget Tyler Conklin. Oh, Tyler Conklin. Such a good game. Yeah, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter if your tight end had a bad game. Congratulations. We got rid of the tight end position this week. Hopefully you had Trey Burton or Evan Ingram, Vance McDonald. Those are some of the only relevant players who could have been started that performed well. Now, honestly, George Kittle was tight end 11. So, yeah, Kittle, you're amazing.
Yeah, what? Come on. You're going to put the tight end 11 in the list?
I regret it, okay?
Yeah, you should. Should regret a lot
What do
of
you
things,
regret
Brooks.
more, Brooks? Putting George Kittle in the tight end list or how much you have been strutting around talking about how your team is unbeatable in the championship game?
I regret putting Kittle in here.
Oh, he's got no regrets about his championship.
That's what I'm talking about, Brooks.
Braggadociousness. Oh, man, he's insufferable.
We have time for one question for mailbag. Now, wait, when you do one question for mailbag,
it better be good.
Do you do the drop?
You have to.
Mailbag.
Double up.
This one's from Kyle in South Dakota. After Sunday, my opponent has no players left. I have DJ Moore in a 1-point lead. Do you bench him?
So 1 point is usually my threshold. 1 point is within the range of stat corrections. So if it's only 1 point, I think I have to play him. So my point is, if you had a 2-point lead, I feel like you're beyond the stat correction limit. You'll probably, even if you lose a point or your opponent gains a point, you're going to be okay.
But what if you lose a point and they gain a point, Jason?
Oh,
I've just poked a hole in your 2-point theory.
I think that the chances of that are super duper rare.
So are the chances that DJ Moore on his one play of the game gains 0 yards and fumbles and then leaves with an injury.
Yeah, I'm going to play DJ Moore here.
Yeah, I would play him as well. Although, what was the most recent? I feel like we talked about on the show.
We've talked about it a couple times. Jared Goff, someone needed like half a point, and he got -2 and lost. Disgusting.
The mood that I was in last night watching that game of Brandon Cooks not scoring points. I mean, I had rallied the troops. I had you guys into this game.
Oh, yeah.
You were in it. That loser, Brian Ketchrin.
Oh, what a loser.
He was in it. Our good friend, Jeremy. We were all rooting for Brandon Cooks, and everything was there for him. And I was just –
Game script said perfect for Brandon Cooks.
I lived upside down for 20 straight minutes.
All I know is last year, you and Andy had to face off in the Dynasty Championship.
Yes.
While Brooks and I had to look on. And now the tables have turned.
They certainly have.
And you and Andy get to watch Brooks and I go head-to-head. And look, Brooks, congratulations on your championship.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you're unbeatable. And we all know it.
You don't like that, Mike?
No.
All right.
No.
Mike is against our concession
Look,
strategery.
yeah, I'm all for complaining about during in the game when things are not going well, but do not concede. Oh, you haven't even won your matchup tonight.
That's true. All right. I will wait to concede until I am in the championship game.
Thank you.
Breeze and McCaffrey, they've never blown up for big games or anything.
Oh,
You get out of here now, Brooks.
Brooks is talking smack. I wish I had a dart to throw at you.
I'm in a room of babies. Grow up.
And baby Josh is gone.
Yeah. Somehow we lost one baby and I gained two while I was gone.
Well, good luck to everybody tonight. I know a lot of games still out there on the line.
Yeah, with the Panthers and the Saints. Best of luck, Foot Clan. We will see you tomorrow for the waiver show. Love you. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.